off my question as to what was going on internally during that time, in the period after the fall of the Soviet Union, all through these different phases of NATO expansion. What was going on politically for the Russian government, for Putin, internally was, and I know you talk about this in your book, like how internal politics affect foreign policy. Can you talk a little bit about how that was affecting their strategy?
Absolutely. No, that's a very good question. I mean, we don't want to completely discard the internal dynamic of Russian, of Moscow. So two things. One, we have a tendency to see some sort of opposition to the Russian ruling elite and think that this is, a country which is just waiting to be liberated and be liberal. It's not true. It is the same folly that we had in the Middle East. We see 10,000 people marching in Baghdad or 10,000 people marching in Moscow, and we think like this is a country which is going to be Switzerland in 10 years' time. And all we have to do is just push for it. Not true. If you see the 15 years of polling of Russian public opinion about Putin, it is pretty stable. It might vary, from 68 to 72%, and but it stays in that range. There is a significant chunk of opposition to Vladimir Putin, but that is also, number one, not consolidated. Some of them are communists, some of them are liberals, some of them are Navalny type liberals, or Boris Nemtsov, if you guys remember. He died in Moscow, he was killed. So again, the opposition to Russia is, there has been a consistent opposition to any kind of ruling elite in Russia, but it has never been significant. In fact, the only time it was a genuine threat was around, I think it was 94 or 93 when the election happened, and the communists won like 26% or something of that sort. And we, by the way, helped Yeltsin. We don't talk about that foreign intervention, foreign influence in Russian internal matters. The second point that you mentioned is Russia, immediately when Putin came to power, was a basket case of economic malappropriation by various segments in that, who were, number one, there were warlords in various parts of Russia who were fighting their own battle in Dagestan and Chechnya. And number two, there were the Siloviki, who were the former intelligence officers of Russia, who took advantage of the post-Cold War turmoil and brought up properties and land. So Putin came to power and he consolidated that base. There was this huge purge. There was this bombings in Moscow, which is still controversial. Some people think that, the FSB did it. I don't know either way, I can't claim. But Putin came, took advantage of that situation, consolidated the internal ruling elite, figured out a patronage system where some of the people who are close to him are going to stay in power, provided there is no genuine threat to the managed democracy in Russia. But that doesn't mean that he faces, a massive opposition. Like, Vladimir Putin is not like Saddam Hussein in Iraq, where a minority is ruling over a majority. He enjoys the support of a healthy chunk of Russia, which is outside Moscow and St. Petersburg. So while there is domestic opposition in various cities of Russia, it has stayed pretty sane when it comes to Putin's support. He enjoys the backbone of support in his own country.